Welcome to Fishing Masterclass Questions. You've joined me today with Joe Carass of Preston Innovations and Sonia Bates. You right, Joe?
Very well, Ricky. You?
Yeah, good time, mate. Good. I would ask you what
Thanks for having me.
No, it's all right, mate. It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Excellent.
I would ask you what you've been up to, but I'm sure everyone's seen your videos with dares and.
Someone said I'm the Michael Parkinson of fishing blogs at the minute.
Flat out.
Yeah.
Oh God. How's life in the tackle trade with all this going on?
It's good. We're just trying to keep as busy as we can. Obviously, people, I don't underestimate this. People sort of rely on us ourselves and Guru and yourself and that to get a bit of entertainment, and get a bit of fishing content out there. So we're doing what we can with this sort of thing, and hopefully everyone's enjoying it.
Hopefully, mate. Hopefully, it's not ideal, is it? But I think with what people are doing in the trade, keeping people interacting with fishing, keeping it on the brain and stuff, it's absolutely fantastic. To be honest, it is.
Yeah, I think so, and it's quite interesting because like the Q&A we're doing with Des at the minute, we're going to continue that even when lockdown's finished because people just love it. So there's good stuff coming out of this as well. So it's really good.
Brilliant. Des seems quite happy as well doing them. It's unlike Des to be happy.
He loves it, doesn't he? He loves it. Loves a bit of banter, bless him.
Fair play. I bet it's killing him not being on the bank.
He's the worst. Off camera, you want to see him as a right miserable git.
Is he? No, I love Des. He's funny. I think Des is like a woman, and if Des isn't moaning, there's something wrong.
Something wrong. Bless him. Bless him.
Yeah.
He doesn't moan. He just disagrees loudly.
Yeah. Fair play. Fair play. I've got 3 questions for you, Joe, if you don't mind.
Go on, then. Of course, I'll do my best.
When I got these questions, as usual, I try and think of the best people for the answer I'm looking for. I could try and answer them all myself, but it's just not in the spirit of things, I don't think.
It's nice to get a few different faces, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice. So the first one was to me on top kits, on short kits, really. Someone had seen my video I'd done at the Glebe using Preston DWA kits.
Yeah.
And they posed this question to me. So I have been thinking of investing in some short kits for my pole. Is it really worth it?
Obviously, it largely depends on what fishing you're doing. If you are a commercial-based angler, certainly if you're fishing for F1s and smaller carp, 1,000,000% get some bought. There's many advantages, not least that they're cheaper than normal top kits. I think that's a big one. So you can kit yourself out with a decent amount of top kits for a lot less money. They're easy to use. They pack away nicely. There's a lot of advantages. But from a purely fishing point of view, for F1 fishing, I think they're a must. I think the shorter amount of elastic allows you to control the fish better. You can land them quicker. It's just a nicer experience, I think, when you're using short rigs, catching smaller carp, small F1s. I think it's a nicer experience. And like I say, they're a good price as well. The downside for me is that as good as they are, they stiffen your pole up as well. That's obviously another big factor. If you're fishing long, it stiffens the action of your pole, and the elastic works perfect as a result. The one downside, as far as I'm concerned, is the lack of elastic. So if you are fishing for big carp, there are occasions where you'll hook a fish with a short kit and it'll bottom you out and break you, or you'll pull the hook out or something like that. So there is that balance to be made there. I think there's so many anglers using short kits now, which just tells you how good they are.
Brilliant.
And obviously you use them, don't you, Stone?
I do, yeah. I use the DWA kits from Preston because I use a diver pole. So I think Preston capitalised on the market because there's that many people using diver poles, and it was such a clever idea from Preston. I did use diver short kits, but I found the Preston ones was lighter. That's the only reason I swapped over to them. But when you go to lighter top kits, sometimes you compromise with strength. But I've asked anyone who's seen that Glebe video, like what this guy referred to, I was using a strong elastic, like a 14 elastic, for these short kits, which I don't think
they're strong. They're really strong.
And I was locking this elastic out, and it shows in the video just how strong they are. So yeah.
No, they're very, very strong because there's no bend in them. So there's no reason for. I know this is bro science here, but there's no reason for them to break because they're so stiff, even with a heavy elastic in.
Yeah.
You know, you pull in, the angle's perfect for the elastic to come out. So you haven't got to worry about strength at all. And like I said, there's a lot of advantages. The only time, like I say, I've had problems is when fishing for real big fish. And I've hooked fish and they've taken me off and bottomed me out. So then I'd probably just switch to a power kit, like a normal power kit, to be fair.
Yeah.
But if I was a tunnel barn, going tunnel barn or, any of them sort of places, I think that's all I'd use, to be fair.
Brilliant.
Short kits.
Thank you for that, Joe. That answers the question. And the next question is, I tend to use the same pattern of hook for all my fishing because I don't understand what shapes do what job. Can you explain it for me, please?
Yeah, it's quite tricky, isn't it, without a bit more information, because there's so many hooks on the market. But just to give you a bit of a lowdown on where I am with hooks and like what I would use, I think this sort of GPM shape, like if that chap's using one hook for everything, I'd probably say it would be something like that, that kind of shape. Can you see that, Ricky?
Yeah, you can see it.
Just about
I don't know if my picture is a bit clearer, Joe, so...
Yeah.
Let me just grab... So, if you can't see Joe...
But it's like... It's that classic sort of commercial pattern, isn't it?
Yeah. So
we GPM.
Yeah, perfect.
So, I use that for 90% of my commercial fishing. Because even in a 12, it's plenty strong enough. Yeah. Right down to an 18, it's a nice hook for F1s.
Yeah.
And it's a good all-around shape, that is. What I like about that shape as well is, if I want to go winter fishing, I can use the SFL, which is pretty much the same shape within reason, but a lighter gauge. So I've got that option to use the same hook but a lighter gauge.
Yeah.
I've got the eyed hook if I want to use, band pellets or fish hair rigging. And then if I want to go natural fishing, there's an even better twist on it. You've got the N30, which is the same shape but a barbed hook.
Okay.
So you can see that in my fishing. I've got 4 different hooks there that could cover me for everything.
Yeah.
The only times I'd say you need something a little bit different is if you're fishing really big baits, paste. A lot of people use double worm, 10 maggots, something like that.
Yeah.
A really wide gape, something like that, an XSH.
Yeah.
There's loads of big mauling hooks like that on the market.
Yeah.
Just because it's wider, it gives you a bit more. It keeps the hook point showing, even though you've got a big hook bait on.
Yeah.
And then when you're hair rigging on rod and line, I do like an outturned eye, so a KKM is such a great hook for that kind of fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, they're brilliant. Yeah, they're brilliant hooks. Yeah. But it's but if I only had to use one sort of shape of hook, then that sort of GPM N30 SFL sort of pattern, you can't do a lot wrong with that, to be fair.
Okay, brilliant.
To cover all your fishing.
Yeah. So that is basically what the guy is saying. He only uses one hook because he doesn't understand what different hooks do what. But that you've only showed one hook there, but you've showed it in like 5 different ways you can use it.
Like I say, it's the same pattern, it's the same shape, shall I say?
Yeah.
But you've got 4 options there that would cover a bloody lot of your fishing if that,
Brilliant.
So it's not a bad thing that he's only using one hook, but just understand what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
And if it's that shape that he's using, that'll cover him for loads of fishing.
So just a quick question, Joe, just to elaborate on that a bit more. The GPM shape hook, like we've just been talking about, that has got like a slightly in-turn point.
Yeah.
Would you ever go for a straighter point over an in-turn point or do you not really look at them kind of things?
There was a time when I used to love, you might remember this up, the PR21, do you remember that? Which was an XSH essentially, but a much straighter point, and I used to love it for worm fishing because I felt like it didn't dig back into the worm a bit more.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I just like that sort of pattern now.
Yeah.
Even the XSH goes in a bit.
Yeah.
And I've got so much faith in that hook. So the only time, I'll tell you what, actually, feeder fishing, a straight point can be very good. Yeah. N20 for feeder fishing can be good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that is worth. That's a good shout, that actually.
Yeah. And that I think answers that question. So thank
I
you
think
for
so.
that,
I hope
Joe.
so.
And
problem.
then a last question, what I thought would be a really good one to ask you is, I want to invest in a feeder rod that's going to cover all of my fishing. If you had £300 and you could only have one rod which to do everything, what rod would it be?
Yeah.
That's a
I was
hard
going to say
one.
it's a tricky. That is a hard one.
Yeah.
Because you can break it down into, is it natural fishing or is it commercial? But if I had to go one rod everywhere, and it would be a 12-6 Superior, 50 gram.
Yeah.
By a mile, because you can do anything with that rod. You can chuck, 60 metres comfortably. The only thing I'd probably feel a bit handicapped if I was on a little diddy commercial, chucking to an island a bit.
Yeah.
But I think for, if I was going Barson, I could use that rod. Boddington, I could go went bream fishing. So yeah, probably 12-6 Superior, 50 gram.
12-6.
If it was just commercials, I'd go for the 10-foot Superior.
Yeah.
So
brilliant.
That would be my. There's two rods there, isn't it? I've cheated there.
That is a bit of a cheat. I thought you was going to go
12-6 Superior.
Yeah, 12-6. How much are them?
160 quid ish.
So you could get two for that.
So well under budget.
Yeah, well under budget. Yeah.
Well under budget, yeah. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll do better than that. If it was the 10-foot Superior that I had to go for, I'd probably go for a 10-foot Monster X. Because that's what I use.
10-foot Monster.
And they're 100 quid, so you could get three.
Get three of them. Okay, brilliant.
So there you go.
To be honest, I think this person was expecting an answer of a really stupidly expensive rod, but they don't. I think the times now, people have just caught up so much with carbon, and you can get a fantastic rod for 100 quid these days.
Yeah, well, I think it speaks volumes that Des won the Part D Masters on a 50 quid rod last year.
Yeah.
Well, 40 quid rod.
Is that a Tyson?
And it's not that it. Yeah, a Tyson, 9-foot Tyson he uses.
Yeah.
And it's not the fact that we've asked him to use it for a plug or anything.
Yeah.
He just likes that rod because it's soft.
Yeah.
And that just speaks volumes, I think, where we're at with rods these days.
Yeah. A bit of a weird question, Joe, from me. So,
yeah, go on.
You brought a rod out called a Tyson. Yeah, it's really. You'd expect that rod to be like. Straight away. As soon as you hear Tyson, you think of Mike Tyson, didn't you? Hard as nails, and I mean, just dead strong.
It's they are strong and obviously aimed at commercial fishing. But the problem is our Superior 10-footer, the carbon in it's so good that it has got a stiffer action.
Yeah.
So you could use a Superior 10-foot 40-50 metres if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Whereas the Tyson's more softer blank. But yeah, no, they're good strong rods.
Yeah.
Good name as well, isn't it, Tyson? I like Tyson.
It's the proper name, that is. That's
good name.
Sounds like you'd put that rod through some right abuse.
Well, Des does. Like I say, he uses it every week.
Yeah. No, but, to be fair, Joe, I ain't got. That's it. You've answered the questions short and sharp.
Oh, well.
As we like.
There we go.
Knowing your stuff. But if I get any more questions, mate, that have got your name written on them, I'll give you a shout. Please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, if it's about drinking beer, I might be a man, but fishing, I'm not so sure. I'm getting good at that at the minute.
Oh yeah.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah. I've had the odd one, mate. I was going to do that that down a point thing for the NHS, but my missus says to me, "You dare." She weren't happy like when I was going to do it. So
she weren't having it.
No, she made me donate instead.
Yeah, I've donated myself. So there you go.
So happy days.
Be responsible, guys.
Yeah. Right, we'll leave it there. I just want to say a massive thanks to Joe.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll see you soon, Joe. Cheers, mate.
Hopefully.
Thanks very much.
See ya.
See you later.